Good morning, everybody. Today we will be taking up one of the topic in the unit 3, that is livestock breeding systems including poultry, that is breeding strategies for genetic improvement of cattle and buffaloes. Okay, breeding strategies for the genetic improvement of cattle and buffaloes. So we have got, I think by now with the material that have been already given to you or distributed through the mail and other aids by the madam and Gadar. So we have come to know that we have already dealt in with some of the topics, important topics in the livestock breeding systems, referred as selection and mating systems or mating systems. Okay, selection and mating systems has been already dealt. Okay, selection and mating systems or methods of breeding has been covered. Okay, so here the topic is breeding strategies. Okay, when you just look at the words breeding strategies, so breeding strategy has got two parts. One is breeding, next one is strategy. Okay, so breeding strategy. Breeding strategy has got two words. One is breeding, another is strategy. So breeding is reproduction of selected individuals. Okay, reproduction of selected individuals. So when we say selected individuals, here actually in the genetics and breeding terms we say genetic selection. Okay, rather than, I think selection we have got broadly artificial and natural selection. Artificial and natural selection. So in the natural selection, usually it operates in the nature, or where selection intensive human intervention is not there, there natural selection operates. There the criterion is survival of the fittest. Whichever individuals which is able to survive itself in the given environment will be reproducing successfully, so it will be passing on its genes to the next generation. So survival of fittest will become the important criteria in the natural selection. When you go to the artificial selection, there will be intervention by the human in terms of different economic traits. Okay, different economic traits, because we are dealing with the domestic animals. Okay, domestic animals. So domestic animals we have got cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, swine and poultry. Okay, here in the artificial selection, so when we say breeding strategies, naturally we are, as the definition goes, breeding is usually directly it is reproduction of the selected individuals. Reproduction of the selected individuals. So now, so we have to assume at the breeding strategy point we have a group of breeding animals or selected animals to be reproduced. Okay. So now the next thing we will just come back to the other things in the same topic, breeding strategies, cattle and buffalo. I think cattle and buffalo, as all of you are aware, cattle and buffalo is an important species. That is, it is two species, cattle and buffalo. Important segment in the livestock because it occupies a major livelihood solution for most of the farmers in the Indian subcontinent. Okay. So it is maximum among the livestock species we have got, that is sheep, goat, poultry, swine. Okay, so among them cattle and buffalo are the priority. That is, they are reared by more number of farmers for the sake of livelihood. For that reason, it occupies a significant area unit. It becomes a significant unit, cattle and buffaloes. Okay, now the question is how to pass on. I think in the first class that I took as I introduced the breeding, we also refer to a section called as, when we say breeding strategy, so we have got the structure is two important things are will be again refreshed here. So any given population, that is cattle and buffalo population, has got a structure in the field is it is available as discrete breeds. Okay, it is available as discrete breeds, non-discrete breeds, and then they have got crossbred individuals. Okay, for the cattle, whole cattle in India or in any given situation, in any district, area, taluk, wherever. So we have got these three categories. One is descriptive category. Descriptive category will have all the described breeds. Okay. So starting from Amrutmal, Halikar, Rati, Sahiwal, Tarparkar, Haryana, like this. Okay. Many cattle breeds they will fall into this group, descriptive breed. Then we have got a non-descriptive breed. Okay. And descriptive breed actually population, that is percentage of descriptive breeds in the cattle will be something like 30%. Something like maximum is 30%. Okay, something like 30%. So now the next category is non-descriptive breeds. Okay, non-descriptive, as the name says there, not described or not characterized kind of category. This occupies a major chunk. Okay, majority is this only. So it goes up to 50%. It goes up to 50%. Now we have got the other important category, that is crossbred population. So that is to the tune of 15 to 20%. Okay, to the tune of 15 to 20%. So generally, cattle population in any area will have this category: descriptive, non-descriptive, crossbreds. Okay. So in the crossbred category, we have got 15 to 20%. So if we come to the buffalo section, the differentiation is only this. There will not be crossbreds will not be there. So instead of crossbreds, we will have what is called as graded of. Instead of crossbred, we will have a category called as graded of buffaloes. Okay, that is the difference between. Other things will remain same. Descriptive, non-descriptive will be there in buffalo section or buffalo also, and percentage is almost similar. Okay, almost similar. We can say 30% and 50%. There may be some difference with respect to the percentage, but this forms the general composition of a cattle and buffaloes population in India or in Karnataka in any given area. Generally, there might be some variation, because if you come to the purely urban areas, semi-urban areas, so then there will be a difference. So ND may be very less there, crossbred may be little higher, and district may be lesser there. Okay, depending on the situation. But generally, overall, when you take the larger picture, larger area, so this will be the composition. Now, when we say breeding strategies, and I told one more thing also in Indian subcontinent. So all the animals are not, all the population will not be involved in the breeding activity. Okay, breeding actually I already told you. Breeding means reproduction of selected individuals. So this does not happen in, that is selection activity does not happen in all the levels. So I think we just mentioned a category called as breeding and selection. Okay, whatever selection activity, selection as a technical program will be operating only in the selection as a technical program will be operating only in the selected population only. If you come to the, so we will not go to poultry section, it will be entirely different. The poultry will be entirely different. When we come to cattle and buffaloes, when we come to the cattle and buffaloes, selection will not be operating in the entire population. Okay, selection will be operating only in the farms. Okay, organized farms. Okay, in the organized farms, selection will be happening, and it will be organized farms can be in any farm. So they can be bull mother farms also. They will be called by different names that will take up in the other this one. Bull mother farms or nucleus farms. Okay, nucleus farms. Okay, so selection will not, and other structure of the Indian, especially with respect to cattle and buffaloes. And one more important aspect in cattle and buffaloes is, so it will not be selection will be, the population will be consisting of cattle and buffaloes will be consisting of generations, the animals belonging to different generations. A population will be consisting of group of animals belonging to different generations. Okay, that is what we mean is all the animals. That is, there will not be clear-cut demarcation between the generations. There will not be clear-cut demarcation between the generations. Animals belonging to different generations will be residing in a particular geography. They will be together. So all the animals belonging to, that is, it's not like first generation animal somewhere, second generation somewhere, third generation somewhere. It will not be like that. All the animals belonging to different generations will be living in a particular area, geography. And even, so when we say breeding technically means you would like to pass on the better genes, selected individuals genes to the next generation. Okay, so we will not touch the selection topic here, so because it is already material is given. So we have got selected individuals, we need to reproduce them to produce the next generation of animals. Okay, next generation of animals. So now, so in Indian subcontinent especially, the smallholder families, that is large number of people rearing small number of animals, that is people, farmers having 5 to 6 or 4 to 3 animals or more, especially with cattle and buffaloes. Farmers who are having 4 to 3 animals or 5 to 6 animals, okay, cattle and buffaloes, they are referred as smallholder livestock rearing system. That system is predominant in India. Okay, that system, that is a system where 4 to 3 females or 5 to 6 cows, cattle and buffalo are reared. So that section is predominant. Organized intensive farming is less predominant in India. That is, less predominant means people, farmers were rearing 20, more than 25. Okay, in the intensive form of kind of farming are less in India. Okay, for that reason, so they have naturally, most of the time what happens is, so they will have so many number of breedable females, 5 to 6 or 4 to 3 females will be there, cattle and buffaloes, and they will not have specifically their own males or bulls will not be available. Okay, males or bulls will not be available. So and usually they depend on the males from the either from some one of the source, or nowadays it is predominant, especially. So I think the division already we have made: discrete breed, discrete cattle, non-discrete cattle, crossbred cattle are there. Okay, among this, so there is a section that is somewhere most of the people, most of the time, people who are rearing crossbred cattle are dependent on a technique called as artificial insemination. Okay, the people who rear crossbreds are dependent on artificial insemination technique. Okay, and these non-discrete people usually they don't come to the artificial insemination. The most of the time, what they do is they will have their own scrub bulls will be there. There will be insemination or mating will be there in the same cattle group, and they will be going on. Okay, so I think there will not be much problem here. And when we come to the discrete breeds, usually those who have got pure females, breedable females, Amrutmal, Alika, Devani, like that, they do depend on, because nowadays already some recent past in the recent decades, since 1 decade or 1.5 decades, government is also supplying the discrete breed semens for the artificial insemination centers. Okay, so that will take care of the discrete breeds breeding. Okay, so what we are trying to tell you is, so we have got a group of farmers that is having 5 to 6 animals or 4 to 3 and 3 to 4 animals. So they will depend on the artificial insemination or natural service, depending on the kind of cattle they are. Mostly those who rear crossbred are dependent on the artificial insemination. Now, this breeding strategy comes into the picture here. So now, so most of the time, that is overall, that is breedable females existing in a particular area, 30% of them. Okay, so if we have around 1000 cattle are available in the crossbred, it is majority in crossbred cattle. But strategy is different for each of this category of cattle. Okay, for discrete it will be a different kind of strategy is required. For non-discrete it is different, and for crossbred it is different. So crossbred here specifically, crossbred animals are the animals which are born by crossing the exotic cattle proven to be producing large amount of milk and non-discrete cattle of the Indian subcontinent. Okay, crossbred animals are the animals produced by crossing of exotic animals and non-discrete cattle. Okay, that is to begin with. That is the first generation. Large number of generations back, about 30, some 15, 20 generations back, or we can say some 2 or 3 or 4 decades back. So to begin with, the first crossbreds obtained were exotic animals or crossed with non-discrete cattle to produce the crossbred generation. And over a period of generations, over different number of generations, we have good number of crossbred animals, up to the tune of 15 to 20% of the existing cattle are crossbred in genetic inheritance, crossbred inheritance. That is, so now they have got, because over a number of generations there is a repeated crossing sometime for some decades. So we do have large number of animals, crossbred animals, having different levels of exotic inheritance. Okay, they have different crossbred animals themselves have, some have 50% to begin with, first generation. Later on, depending on the bull that is used for further crossbreeding or improvement of the crossbred generation, this exotic level of inheritance has increased to 70% sometimes. Now it is stabilized that now we recommend, now that is policy makers have recommended, you should have a ideal level of exotic inheritance in the crossbred should be 50 to 62.5 percentage. Ideal level of exotic inheritance in the crossbred should be 50 to 62.5 percentage. Okay, now we have got a group of crossbred animals which have got varied levels of exotic inheritance. But in order to further improvement of this crossbred, that is exotic level inheritance should not be increased beyond 62%, because if you increase the exotic level inheritance more than 60% or 70%, in the Indian subcontinent where smallholder livestock farming is predominant, where important characteristics of smallholder ruminant livestock rearing is less input system. So they have got, that is very ideal kind of farming, that is health care will not be there, they will not be intensively fed, so they will allow for grazing, bring back the animal, milk the animal, give some concentrates, and minimum a little health care is given. They are not kept in a very high-fi system wherein everything is environment, weather is well controlled, they are not allowed outside. Okay, these things will not be operating. So for that reason, the ideal level of inheritance in order to have optimum amount of production is 50 to 62.5 percentage. If you increase the exotic level inheritance in the Indian subcontinent where smallholder farming is predominant, which have got less inputs, the productivity decreases, disease resistance decreases, heat tolerance decreases, the crossbred population produced to have more amount of milk will be of no use or little use to give back to the production. So for that reason, the ideal level of exotic inheritance is 50 to 62.5 percentage. So people who are saying we will provide intensive caring will be given, we will provide all kind of weather control will be available. So those people, that is section is very less. That kind of people, those kinds of farmers are less in number. Okay, so for those we can go beyond 62.5 percentage also. But majority of the smallholder Indian livestock rearing requires an optimum exotic level inheritance of 50 to 62.5 percentage. Okay, now so breeding crossbreds. So naturally, here we told generation population is mixed, containing different generations. Now, in order to improve the crossbred population genetically, we need to do the selection. I think, and as already just now I told you, crossbred population is dependent on semen from genetic material from the selected bulls through artificial insemination network. Okay. Now, so input for the crossbred genetic improvement is most of the time it is male side. Female side usually the animals, because in the breeding I think that is very clear to you by now. We have got females and males for the breeding. When we talk about the crossbred females, most crossbred cattle population, the genetic improvement mainly comes from the male component, because females are with the farmers, females are with the crossbred females are with the farmers. They will usually, depending on the survivability of an individual, they will retain the animals which are giving more milk, female side, and male side they depend on the artificial insemination. For that reason, breeding strategy for improvement of crossbred cattle is mainly dependent on the bulls selected for artificial insemination program. Okay, the genetic improvement of the crossbreds depends on the bulls selected for artificial insemination program in the bull mother farms. Okay, so there will be I think that will take up fair evaluation, other that component will take up separately. Right now, in this context, in the context of breeding strategies for the improvement of cattle and buffaloes, specifically now crossbreds. So that is crossbred improvement is mostly dependent on the male selected. Male selected. Now, I think we know at this point I just mentioned artificial insemination and natural mating. So this artificial selection is different, natural selection, those are different. Coming to the breeding method, we have got two kinds called as, one is artificial insemination, another is natural service. Okay, we have got artificial insemination and natural service. So dairy cattle, important difference is dairy cattle when we say most of the time, dairy cattle when we say buffalo, I will take it up a little separately. There are a few points which need to be touched in the buffalo section. Now we will concentrate only on the crossbred cattle. So crossbred cattle, they are contributing enormous amount of milk to the people, and they are contributing well especially in the livelihood this opportunity. Crossbred rearing has become an important livelihood option for many of the farmers, especially smallholder farmers and landless farmers, because they don't have to have a lot of land for crossbred cattle rearing. For that reason, crossbred cattle rearing is an important livelihood option in the smallholder and landless farmers. Okay, so now for them, they have got the females are available, males are selected, and for especially dairy cattle, artificial insemination is the choice of breeding in the dairy cattle in Indian subcontinent, because so they cannot get the proper bulls. Crossbred bulls will not be available in the field conditions because their survivability is less, they will be of less use, except for draught purpose they will not be useful. For that reason, crossbred bulls will not be available in the field conditions. For that reason, most of the time crossbred cattle, that is crossbred rearing farmers, are dependent on artificial insemination network. So artificial insemination network, in simple terms at this context, is nothing but making available genetic material in the form of semen. Semen of the selected bulls is made available in different geographies. Okay, yes, few bulls are selected at the center in the some regions like that is Bangalore or some farms. Key centers will be there. And there will be selection of the bulls. And bulls, semen will be collected from the elite bulls. Okay, semen will be collected from the elite bulls, and that will be stored in liquid nitrogen, that is minus 196 degrees centigrade, and it will be distributed to many centers around Karnataka. Okay, many centers around Karnataka. Now there are incidences even that you get the semen of important cattle breeds from different parts of the country also, and even you can get it from other countries also with the proper permission. So now only the change is, instead of natural service where crossbreds are deprived of the opportunity, that is live bulls, that is natural service is less feasible in the crossbred cattle. For that reason they depend on artificial insemination, and it's a blessing also. So because we get the genetic material, superior genetic material is made available at the farmer's doorstep. So now that is also there. So now earlier they used to do insemination in the veterinary dispensary. Now they even go up to the farmer's door also. That is when the animal is in need, that is they will select the breed and service will be made available at the farmer's doorstep, and insemination will be done. Okay. So now the interbreeding strategies. So the improvement of cattle, crossbred cattle, depends on the selection of the bulls for artificial insemination network. Better is the bulls selected in terms of milk production, and other characters, other less important characters. Milk production is the important character. Along with that, there will be other selection also. So we will not touch that topic. So elite animals with respect to milk production will be made available in the artificial insemination network. Their semen is collected, and before that selection has been done. So I already told you, when we say breeding strategies, we need to have a group of selected animals. Okay, so then we can think of how to breed them: natural service or artificial insemination. Natural service, it has got its own limitations, because so that will deal it later on. So natural service is less efficient with respect to utilization, exploitation, extent of utilization of the allied genetic material. Natural service is less efficient with respect to exploitation of the superior germplasm. Okay, so it is less, it is costly also. Natural service is costly also because one bull for even 20 to 30 females also it will be costlier affair. So now where especially crossbred cattle, we are restricting only to the crossbred cattle. Okay, now in this way we can this spread of this genetic material is in this way, and further down. So it will be repeated. It is not a one generation of activity. It is this breeding strategy will remain for large number of generations downstream also. Okay, it will not stop at one time. So you will select the few animals, few bulls for the artificial insemination network. They will be utilized. Their semen will be utilized, made available, and it will be stored in cryopreservation will be done. It will be utilized for artificial insemination, and over a period of time, continuously. These some section of bulls they will go, the next section of bulls will come. So, but only thing is each time when the bulls are selected for artificial insemination network, we should see that what is their liability in the cross field level. Okay, how their daughters are performing, whether the milk production is superior or not. So these things should be checked, fertility whether it is good or not. So when it is assured that they are good, we can always improve upon. So depending on the situation, it is a continuous process. Breeding strategy, implementation of breeding strategy is a long-term continuous process. Okay, it is not a one-time activity. You do it now, stop it later, not like that. It is a continuous activity, continuous long-term activity. Because so I think at this now so now breeding strategy for cattle crossbred is, I think that is the best this one. So in this actually again there will be different kinds of this one, that is again the breeding strategies we can have a different this one there. So if you are not utilizing most of the time in the dairy cattle, crossbred cattle, it is a closed nucleus breeding system only. Okay, in the dairy cattle it is most of the time closed nucleus breeding system. Closed nucleus breeding system means selection is done at the bulls level, size level. Okay, their semen is utilized for the improvement of females available in the field level. Okay, and there will be less or no selection, genetic selection at the field level. No genetic selection or less genetic selection at the field level in the females. That is a continuous process. Males will be, because crossbred males most of the time they go waste and they don't depend on them. They will either succumb, they will die in the course of time because of poor management or whatever, and because they are not required, they will not be of use for draught also. So naturally, the bulls, the males component will vanish in the crossbred cattle population most of the time. Only they depend on the male component from the artificial insemination network. Okay, so whatever selection better is the bulls here, better will be the genetic improvement at the field level. Okay, so that is the with respect to crossbred cattle. Closed nucleus breeding system is there. That is one way flow. That is genetic superior genetic material flows from the A network to the field level. There will not be any selection at the field level. From field level, animals will not be selected or picked up to the artificial insemination network. Okay, so there is one exception called as bull mother farm exception. That is called as open nucleus breeding system. That is a limited kind of ONBS. You can say we have got two kinds called as CNBS. You can just take down in the same this one, ONBS and CNBS. Okay, closed nucleus breeding. Just now it closed as the name says. Closed as the name says, it is from one direction to only in the one direction. Only in the one direction. Open nucleus breeding system. If the selection is happening in the female section also, if you pick up some of the animals from the downside, that is from the field level population, and animals are picked up for utilized in the artificial insemination network, then it is called as open nucleus breeding system. Simple closed nucleus breeding system, one way flow from the top bulls from one center flow to there for field level population. There will not be movement of animals from the field level to the central nucleus form. That is closed nucleus breeding system. Okay, in the ONBS, there will be selection of animals in the field level population also. Okay, so I think now some of you might have heard, so are seen already because you are also there in the homes now or villages now. So there are many cattle with most of the cattle now, I should say, most of the cattle and buffaloes have got a tag. Yellow tag is there on the in their ears. Okay, that is called as identification of animals for identification of animals for animal productivity and health. Okay, identification of animals for productivity and health. Enough. There is a large scale project called as Enough, wherein cattle and buffaloes at the field level are identified with the tag and their production is monitored for a certain period. Their production, their immune status in terms of vaccination is monitored in the field level. Okay, so where if there are animals which are producing more milk, they will be picked up, they will be identified, they will be picked up, and their bull calves will be utilized for the production of size required for artificial insemination network. Okay, so here that is instead of selecting the bulls in the earlier system, closed nucleus breeding system, usually there will be selected farms will be there, organized farms will be there, very few organized farms. From there recording is done. From there the bull calves are picked up for artificial insemination network. Bull calves are then they are further ascertained. We will talk about that how to select the bull for artificial insemination network in another class, that is site evaluation. At this juncture, so in CNPS there will be one by selection will be done, only the top tier selection is done and genetic material passes on. In ONBS you do select animals from the field level population also. In simple terms, ONBS is a method of breeding wherein you pick up some of the animals from the downstream also, from the field level population also. Okay, it is also called as actually blue mother farms does come in this kind of system. We will talk about that later on. So now, most crossbred cattle, I just touched the few of the breeding strategies required for crossbred cattle. They are done. So now the character, so selection for how to do selection, those things will not touch upon the breeding strategies. Okay, now coming to the other section, other important section. Okay, discrete breeds. Okay, discrete breeds of cattle. So discrete breeds of cattle include starting from, so we have got in the Welsh category, this cattle category we have got Welsh, milk purpose, Beagle and Broad. Okay, what are the three important, as all of you are aware, there are three kinds of breed in Indian subcontinent. They have milk breeds, dual purpose breed and broad breeds. Okay, so in Indian subcontinent, because we are dependent on broadability as much as milk purpose. Okay, because all of you are aware of the fact that land holdings are lesser in Indian subcontinent, and since decades Indian farmers depend on, for traction power they depend on the cattle power. Okay, they depend on the cattle for the traction power of different agricultural activities. For that reason, we have got different breeds. So as all of you are aware, they got few milk breeds in the form of Sahiwal, Rathi, Karkar, okay, and Red Sindhi. We have dual purpose in the form of Delhi in Karnataka. In the Draught area, Karnataka is known for southern breeds, most of the southern breeds of Draught purpose breeds. Okay, now we are talking about the breeding strategies for breeding improvement of discrete cattle. Okay, here we have got three categories: Welsh, Beagle and Draught. Discrete breeds breeding strategy, most of the time we discourage. That is, there should not be crossbreeding program for the discrete breeds of cattle. There should not be any kind of crossbreeding of the discrete cattle breed, because discrete cattle breeds are known for their unique disease adaptivity to the given geography is the excellent features of discrete cattle breeds of India. Okay, so in order to retain them, we should not engage in crossbreeding of the discrete cattle breeds. Okay, that is the first important step that should be kept in mind when we are thinking of the genetic improvement of discrete cattle breeds. Okay, so only thing is we should focus on the breeding within the breed. We should not think of crossbreeding of the discrete cattle. And how to do this genetic improvement? Same thing applies here also as we did for crossbred cattle. Okay, as it is done for the crossbred cattle, we can also crossbred as it is done in the crossbred cattle. Selection will be done in the central nucleus form for different breeds also. Same kind of networks are can be utilized through artificial insemination. Most of the time, discrete males are available in the field level condition. The seniority is little different compared to the crossbred cattle because males, good number of males belonging to discrete cattle breeds are available in the field condition because they are utilizing the males for draught purpose. So male components is very much available because it is precious. It will be available in the cattle breeds. It will be available in the field level population. Male level males will be available for discrete cattle. Males will be available in the field level population compared to the crossbred. Okay, so because they are utilized, they are of utility for the draught purpose. They fetch lot of price also males. For that reason, male component is available. They don't have to completely depend on the artificial insemination network. But despite that, government is supplying the semen of the discrete cattle breeds through the artificial insemination network also. Because that is supplied, the intention is it can be utilized for discrete cattle breed, crossbred, the breeding of the discrete cattle breed itself, or for the upliftment of the non-discrete cattle. Okay, so the semen of discrete cattle can be utilized for the genetic improvement of non-discrete cattle or for the further purity of the same discrete cattle breeds. Okay, so that is the reason. And here in the same discrete cattle breeds, we can apply both these things, CNBS as well as ONBS. That is, we can have, because selected forms of organized forms for a particular breed are available, their number is also vanishing, but we can either go for CNBS or for ONBS in the selection of bulls for artificial insemination network. So depending on how they are selected, it will be CNBS or ONBS. CNBS only selected forms, ONBS from downstreams also good females if they are available. The male cows from the females can be picked up for the artificial insemination network. So and it will be kept available in the center of a state. From there, the semen of the selected bull cows picked up from the field level population will be distributed to large area in the state or a given geography. Okay. So now, so in the discrete breeds, you can go for, I think most of the time, breed within the breed selection, they advise most of the time. If Amrut Mal is there, utilize the males of Amrut Mal only. If Aldikar females are available, utilize the males of Aldikar only. So like that we mention, and most of the time that is the practice. Okay, most of the time that is the practice, and we should not go for crossing of Amrut Mal females with the Sahiwal males, crossing of this Devri with the Sahiwal, like that. So if at all people or farmers are interested in order to enhance the variability of the given breed, they can even opt for crossing with the given breeds of Indian origin only for crossbreeding of other cattle breeds of their choice. Okay, that is Amrut Mahal or Aldikar. You can Devri for example, you can further refine the Devri for milk production by crossing with the Gir cattle breed or Sahiwal. You can think of like that. Okay, not the other kind. That is, you should not utilize exotic semen. Should never be utilized for the genetic improvement of discrete cattle because we will lose the droughtability. Okay. In the future, you may not have good number of cattle required for draught purpose. For that reason, You should not. And other important characters are, we will lose the important inherent unique qualities of the discrete cattle breeds in the form of heat tolerance, disease resistance, and we have got adaptability to different and varied environmental conditions. This will be lost. For that reason, we should restrict the breeding of discrete cattle among themselves, cattle breeds amongst themselves. Okay, now comes the other, this one, which is non-discrete cattle. Other section in the cattle is non-discrete cattle, and this is the major chunk. Okay, major chunk. The majority is number is 50%. The problem with this cattle is non-discrete cattle is it is an important resource in the form of production of crossbred cattle, because if you don't have non-discrete cattle, there will be no crossbred cattle, right? So non-discrete cattle occupy a significant portion of the Indian cattle population, but their productivity is very low, and their size and productivity is very low. But on the contrary, they have got an excellent adaptable character. Adaptability is excellent. Disease resistance is excellent in the non-discrete cattle. Only because we have not described them, we cannot say they are useless. Okay, because they are the important, but their productivity is less, and usually the people who are dependent on the other products of the livestock, cattle and buffalo rearing, that is organic, our fertilizer. Okay, organic component, when we require compost, large amount of manure, wherever large amount of manure is required for the fertilization of their agricultural lands, non-discrete cattle will be an important contributor. Okay, important contributor, and their maintenance is, compared to the discrete cattle breeds, again their requirement in the form of management is very less. The management requirements for non-discrete cattle is very less. Now, coming to the breeding strategy for enhancement of productivity in the non-discrete cattle, mainly depends on the crossbreeding. Either you can go for crossbreeding with the exotic semen, or you can go for the crossbreeding with our own cattle breeds, known cattle breeds of that region. For example, in Karnataka, we can use the non-discrete cattle to crossbreed with either exotic semen, or with the Amrut Mahal semen, or with the Hallikar semen, Devi semen, Kilar semen, Krishna Valley can be utilized for the genetic improvement of non-discrete cattle. And important limitation with respect to non-discrete cattle is they are less available for artificial insemination network. They are less available or less involved in the artificial insemination network, because they are reared in groups. Okay, some at least 10 or 20, 15 will be there. There will be some males within that group itself. There will be heat, they will be coming to heat, and there will be mating with the bulls of the same herd. And most of the time, they will not be brought to the artificial insemination network. So whenever some farmer intends, then they can form a good, they can create good asset out of the non-discrete cattle also. And by crossbreeding for few generations, we will have a good number of non-discrete cattle. Okay. So I think this in nutshell forms this one for the breeding strategies for the genetic improvement of cattle. Okay, breeding strategies for the genetic improvement of cattle. So I think cattle, this is general, this one we have given breeding strategies should be. So I think we should include all these points when we talk about the breeding strategies for genetic improvement of cattle and buffaloes. Okay, I think with that I will stop here. In the next class I will just take up the few points required with respect to the genetic improvement of buffaloes. Okay, genetic improvement of buffaloes. So because it needs, I will just talk about the points in the buffaloes later on in the next class. We will just add in some point. Almost there will be some similarity, but there will be distinct features of buffaloes which will be covered in the next class. So thank you very much. So we will see in the next, meet you in the next class. Okay.